Welcome. You are watching Line Screw 1. Well, good morning to you all in YouTube land, wherever you are in this crazy YouTube universe, as I say. Just had a wonderful shower. Boy, if anybody out there in the audience could just politely recommend to Carolyn's RV life how invigorating and inspiring a daily morning shower is. It's just, it'll change your life, Carolyn. Of course, she won't listen to me, but anyway, I'm just throwing it out there because I'm a plethora of useful information for that girl. Speaking of useful information, I could have some help from some of you in the audience that are a little more, smart when it comes to the electrical system in this RV. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how much battery power or how many amps was accepted while charging all night, because I discovered last night that when I unhook I have absolutely no power. I know I hinted that I had very little yesterday in the video, but I pretty much have Zippo. Oh, and for those of you wondering, this is a exterior temperature sensor. So it's currently 18.9 degrees Celsius. And as I thought, this thing accepted no power, no amps came in at all. And let me go inside. I'm going to show you guys something else, which is weird. Okay, if you look at my Go Power system here, I'm registering, well, there, 14 volts. But when I scroll through, I'm at 100%, of course. 0.0 amps coming in. That's weird. Oh, 0.2, just a fraction. So I think it's got to be a battery, because when I unhook, it's not like I have a main fuse blown, because I will have lights, but they're super, super dim. This will temporarily show 9 volts, and then it'll go to blank because it runs out of juice. So I'm thinking it can only be the batteries. So I'm gonna go disconnect them, and since I am beyond hope, literally and metaphorically, that's Hope, British Columbia, the city of Hope, I'm gonna have to drive back into town, and hopefully one of the jobbers like Lordco has a Type 27. I believe it's a Type 27 battery. Otherwise, I gotta stay plugged in or use my EcoFlow Delta to kind of simulate being plugged in. So yeah, it's I guess it's nothing that the American Express card can't fix. But those batteries, especially good ones, they're not cheap. I know that the main two here they're getting old. I'm gonna guess 5-6 years. But what I did was I wired in a third battery under there, and of course that was a temporary solution last fall, where I go, yeah, these are expensive. If I had to buy 3 of them, yeah, I don't really need 3 because I'm just parked. So I went and bought one more, threw out that one, recycled it actually. The third one I'm pointing to that's over, it's tucked inside there. Probably, when you put 3 in parallel, weird shit can happen as the batteries degrade, and that's probably what happened. Otherwise, it's a mystery problem. Maybe it's in the converter. So I am gonna try and replace one. I can survive with just one. I've got 2 27s in there. I'll buy one. If it works, I'm good to go. I can buy the second one. Don't even need it right off the hop, but I can do that. If it doesn't work, well, I've only wasted a couple $100. It's about 200 Canadian dollars for a Type 27, depending on the quality. So yeah, look at the temperature's already gone up 0.3 Celsius just in a few minutes I've been talking to you guys. So that's what life is like on the road. I've yet to begin. I've spent all these weeks preparing, organizing, buying equipment, things I need, and things go awry. Oh, and of course there's a cascading effect for my plans. Reservations that I had a couple days down the road, I had to cancel them, get my money back on my card. Because of this, I don't want to be fighting with this issue in the middle of nowhere where I can't get a battery. So gonna have to amend the plans. But hey, fun things happen when things go random anyway, right? So, but it's not like I have a set schedule to live by. I'm homeless, right? I'm homeless in the RV, so I can do whatever the hell I want. So yeah, good thing I'm easy going with that nature. But I kind of was thinking to myself just yesterday, I go, wow, I had a bunch of these minor problems popping up, and the lock, and I'm thinking, well, you know what, it's due. When you go a long period of time when nothing of any real significance, maybe a fuse blows and you spend $2 or something, these are insignificant things. But when you go several years with very little expenditure, and then a bunch of things happen all at once or in a short period of time, you kind of got to put it in perspective and realize, well, you know what, it's just the law of numbers. It's like in a casino, the law of big numbers, where you can have numbers in your favor for a short period of time, or numbers not in your favor for a long period of time. I guess some people can have horrible luck, but I think a lot of times luck is just what you make it. Because things wear out. Things only live so long. Everything's temporary. This earth is temporary. I'm temporary. This vehicle's temporary. Everything, all the components within it are temporary. And they degrade over time, and you just got to accept that. There's no other way around it. So, okay, let's, I'm going to isolate these batteries, because if I'm going to pull these out on the side of a street, I don't want to be fighting with it then. I'll disconnect them all, have them ready to roll. That way I can just plop in another 27 and recycle it. Okay, let's hit the road and get her done. So how can I put it? Things went from bad to worse. I'll go through all the details and I'll show you. But it's slowly getting better. So I leave Emory Bar near Yale and I drive all the way back to Hope because I was beyond hope. I know the joke's getting old. And I went to Lordco. It almost sounds like a religious company, doesn't it? Lordco. Lordco. They're the biggest parts dealer, and they tend to have a really good representation and stores in smaller communities. So I go to the Lordco on Wallace Street in Hope, and I take up 4 parking spots. I park diagonally rather than angle because I'd hang out into the street. And I go in there, and believe it or not, there's a lady in there. She's buying 4 Type 27 batteries. That's exactly what I need. And I'm thinking, oh, that's probably the last of them. This is a small town. She's literally paying for them in front of the line for me to get service. Where the parts, how that works in a parts dealer. You got to tell them what you need, and they go in the back and get it. 4. So I go, any chance you got 1 left? And they had 1 left. I could have used 2, but I didn't need to spend the money on 2 because I rewired it. Instead of having 3 in series, I'm just going to have the 1 brand new battery. So luckily they had 1. So they had a cart there. I said to the lady, I will help you load your 4 batteries. Apparently she lives off-grid in a cabin somewhere out in the bush. So I help her load these 4 batteries into her car, and she was very, very thankful. But I needed the cart, so I took the cart and then I went across the street where I was parked, pulled out my old battery, wheeled it back in there, and they tested it, and it was right on the line. But it should have still worked with LED lighting. LED lighting takes nothing. I mean, it's absolutely very little load. So I'm wondering what the hell. So I pull out the Amex, because it's all about Amex. Amex fixes everything, right? American Express fixes all my problems. Of course, you gotta pay that balance off at the end of the month, right? So I put the new battery in. I pay 280 Canadian dollars with all the taxes and fees, and and I have them recycle the old one. And problem is still there. Hard to believe, it's just not working. So I said, screw it. At least I can run things off of the, the shore power, because I have, as I'm running right here, I've got the EcoFlow Delta, which you can see it's being plugged in. And just out of curiosity's sake, here I'm only consuming 52 watts out and 89 are coming in, so I'm running a surplus. So I figure, what's the problem? I'll just use the EcoFlow. I'll just plug in at night. I can string the wire through there so I don't have to leave this outside. And if you noticed, I have it chained to the frame on both sides, so I could leave it outside, because I did have to go for a walk. I decide I'm heading north. I'd like to get back into Emory Creek, which was not available the other day. I figured, oh, what's the chances? It's a Friday. Will anything be available? Oh, what you're hearing is Philip. He's excited because I'm right here. Look at Philip. You gotta get excited because the bird dad's here, right? Bird dad's here. So by some stroke of luck, after leaving Hope, it was 12:30, like lunchtime-ish, they got space because the sign wasn't flipped to full, it was open. So I drive through, and there's a couple good sites, and this is a site I've stayed in many times over the years. I recognize it. So I pull into it. I believe it's 26. We'll do a little walk around video in the next video so you can get to know this place, but keep in mind, all these videos are uploaded after I leave for my own security because of the friendlies, all the liberals and socialists. They want to attack me for some reason. Me, I don't know why. Am I worthy of their attention? Don't know. Carolyn especially and her friendlies. So anyway, I back into here, and there's a bit of an incline. And a funny thing, when I got the new Toyo tires put on, what was that, on Monday? When they jacked it right up, I had water leaking out of the RV. I'm like, what's up with that? What's up with that? So when I got back to the RV park, I looked and I realized, oh yeah, I pulled up, the under the kitchenette area, there's where you got the water tank, and on the other side you got the charge controller and the wiring. And there's a vacuum line that's open that was back feeding out once the vehicle was tipped. Don't know why, it's never happened before, at least not that I've known. Now most roads aren't at that grade. We're talking a grade of 9% maybe. Yeah, it's probably 9%, or might even be greater. So most highways, they don't have a 9% grade, maybe 6, 7 and under. They don't make highways graded like that. They make them a little more gentle, 6 and under typically. So, but on a slope like this, who cares? Your vehicle can do a 9, 10, 15% grade, no big deal. I think there's enough clearance, right? But so I look at the hose. Normally, after I figured this out on Monday with this line leaking when the car was, I wasn't thinking, but the line was positioned not where I would want it so that it would minimize the leaking or even stop it. It had slipped, and it was spewing water all over my fuse box, and that's the 120 fuse box and the 12-volt fuse box. And you got the charge controller, you got it all there. That's like the brains of controlling all the power, on both sides, 12-volt and shore power. And I look at my GoPower power output, I got nothing. I turn on LED lights, which take no power, I got nothing. I'm flat, I got nothing. I'm like, whoa. So I plug in the EcoFlow, thinking, well, it should have no problem. Flat, nothing. Even though I left this morning at the Emory Bar campground, everything's working fine on shore power, right? Got nothing. If I want to use the bathroom, I got to get water from either from the tap out here or from my jug and put it in and then dump it into the bowl of the toilet and then flush, because it still works manually. But I did have a fresh shower this morning. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. So I'm not feeling too soiled yet. But I had to clean up the damn water. I probably lost a couple gallons all over the floor, so that had to be cleaned up. In fact, I've got this hanging out to dry, because this is one of my, I call it my utility towels, where if I got to clean up something, it's nice and absorbent. I never use it on my body, and it's for exactly when things like this happen, or maybe he spills his water or something. And of course, Philip's food is all kept in this box, and the bottom of the box is sitting on the ground, so on the floor, so it got wet. So I'm drying it out. So anywho, let's go inside. And so if it wasn't for this unit here, I'd really be screwed right now. But things slowly came my way, and I came back to where I had only the original problem. Because keep in mind, when I lost all 12-volt power, my fridge wasn't working, no lights, exterior lights, nothing. Only the 120. So in theory, could I turn my air conditioning on? Yep, I could do that. Could I run my PVR and watch movies that are recorded on my digital hard drive and on my flat screen? Yeah, I can run that. But I gotta manually dump water in my toilet, and I gotta have a whore's bath with a jug of water if I wanted to have a shower. But did I mention I had a shower this morning? That's something that Carolyn's RV life, she doesn't ever go, oh, and by the way, did I tell you that I had a shower this morning? Because for her, it would truly be bragging rights. For me, it's not bragging, because I like to shower every day. Because I'm weird, right? Right, Carolyn? I'm weird because I like to shower every day. Anyway, let's get inside. Let's get inside here, and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, let's get some light in here. Right here and right here. Thankfully, these lights, ironically, they're wireless, but they take batteries. They're not part of the 12-volt system. So this is what happened. I pull all this crap back. This is the sitting kitchen area, even though I make this into a couch. I know it's dirty in here, but this is always the dirty spot for every RVer. So this right here is the fuse box, charge controller, and all this. And if you notice, I got a fan going. And if you notice, I got a fan going right there. Getting everything dry through that hole. So I was completely flat with no power at all. And then suddenly, after running this fan for a while, and you're wondering, how do you run the fan? Well, because of the EcoFlow. I can just plug it in. I'm plugged in to shore power through the EcoFlow. In fact, I could even run AC right now. So, after running this fan for several hours, all of a sudden, the power was coming back, and now I got LED lighting. Oh yeah, I got LED lighting. Look at, even my fridge is working. Now, one thing that I do all the time, there's no light in my freezer, but here's a smart thing to do. See those? Those are all frozen water. So that if you lose refrigeration, you got more frozen stuff to keep things frozen. Buys you a little time. So by some miracle, after this water problem, and here's the line. Sorry, I got the flashlight in my mouth right now. That's the line that was spewing water out, and it's connected to the pump, the 12-volt pump. And it spewed water all over. So I had to clean water all over the floor. And of course, I was in and out of here doing things, so I tracked a bit of mud, so I should probably mop this, clean this by hand. But I had to deal with the water. And the fact that this was spewing it all over this intricate electrical system, yeah, I was thinking, oh God, I gotta buy a whole new converter, have it rewired. Ugh. Now, as it is, I still don't have 12-volt power unless I'm plugged in or plugged into my EcoFlow Delta, which is the same as being plugged in at an RV park. So I'm gonna have to head back into town, into Metro Vancouver, and call one of my RV techs that will come to me. So I've got to go back into the Metro Vancouver where their service area is, and I actually called him and he said, yeah, I can squeeze you in sometime in the next week. So I have no idea when he's going to squeeze me in. So unfortunately my trip north is delayed. Now I got to go back south and head back to the metropolitan Vancouver and get this fixed, because I don't want this to happen again. At least I figured out that, yeah, water's coming out of there. So we really had multiple problems that cascaded into other problems. But as it is, hey, I can run my internet and internet accessories. I've got enough power to run everything, and I got a generator, and I got the EcoFlow. So once generator time kicks in, which is at 6 p.m., I'll recharge everything. And I will fire up the AC and get things nice and cool, because what is the temperature right now? It's getting a little toasty. We are 25.1 degrees Celsius outside. What's that? That's like in the low 80s, so it's a little toasty, but at least we got shade. Now, I did not put my awning out because I was afraid of something weird happening again. I've been having such bad luck with the electrical system that's 12 volt. If I can't retract it, I got a pain in the ass. I can't drive this thing with the awning out. So luckily there is enough shade here for me and Philip that it's not an issue, at least not today. So maybe in the morning it'll be an issue, but yeah, I'll deal with it. So it's been quite a day. Spent more money and dealing with fixing problems. And it didn't help that I had a voltmeter, a cheap one that just didn't work properly. So I couldn't even do, my diagnosis ability was minimal. Still got to get one of those. So anyway, I will easily be able to survive now that I've got the 12-volt system back and I can run it on shore power. So life goes on, right? So in the meantime, folks, put your comments down below. And for those of you who suggested in the last video, oh, it's just a battery. Well, that's what we all would think, right? In terms of probability, you're probably right most of the time. But water and electricity don't mix, obviously. And that's the thing where I haven't taken the RV on the road for anything significant. Actually, in fact, I did camp here at Emory Creek a year ago. It was last July. It was one of my few trips that I actually did with this RV last year. But I haven't been living on the road constantly, so these little shakeout problems, they kind of rear their ugly head when you're on the road, right? And I'm learning the hard way, but I'm willing to pay the piper and deal with it. And it's always good to have a backup to a backup. When you have shit like this problems, you got a towel to clean up, you got the EcoFlow for backup power, you got solar for backup energy, you got a generator to charge it all, you got a fan to blow air into the controller to dry it out. I even had if I had to blow heat into it, I got heaters I could rig up to do that. So as long as you got gear, there's always a backup. You have a problem, there's a workaround, there's a fix. You just deal with it and you don't whine. You pull out the American Express and you smile, right? Because life isn't perfect, but you deal with it. Philip, say goodbye to everybody. Say, in the meantime, folks, stay safe, keep your wheels on the ground. Or keep your talons on the ground. Hey, that's what you'd say. Keep your talons on the ground. Over and out.